And we had a little technical difficulties. That's why we're 3 minutes late. That's not too bad. So hopefully, we are clear and the picture is great the entire time. But if not, hey, we just go. We bend with the bamboo and we go with it. But today is Aloha Friday. I am so excited for this special episode today because it's just us, and we're going to be tackling on some challenges today that you have as a guest, and you guys are the guest today, so to speak. So we're going to have some fun today. I'm looking forward to it. This is a total different atmosphere. I'd like to see some questions and answers from, we're going to co-create, with the audience. We're going to just do some live coaching right here and now. I don't know. We've never done something like that before. So we'll see how this goes. But let's kick things off with a gratitude. Dave, what are you grateful for today?
Well, you know what? I'm grateful just to be here in these challenges. I know that I'm in a hotel in challenges. Can I be heard?
I can hear you.
And not change. Take it away because I believe in you. You can hear me. Main thing, if you can hear me, because you go in and out. I'm in a hotel in Utah that I'm hooked up to the internet here, and I'm at that service. So it's so perfect. I think God's plan is always perfect. We're having challenges hearing me. Can you hear me at all?
I can hear you. It's just a little delayed.
I see no movement from you.
Okay.
So let it be played. We can find our way through. The funny thing, so often we'll have them, and somebody says, we'll do this, do that. The ultimate answer is always. No, how often? Always inside you, not outside you. Jesus said that winds be still and the seas were calm. I feel today I kind of have a revelation that the winds were blowing like crazy. And I got this inspiration that it's really the winds within us, the turbulence within us. And when we say things, we have control over it within us. And the answers are always there within us. So whatever you can find if you go within and you breathe through the challenge, then the challenge actually will become a gift. It changes from a challenge and that's how I believe and that's how I live. And I'm grateful because these challenges can bury you sometime. If you
breaking up a little bit now.
But you need face to face in the same.
Hey, I'm having a lot of trouble hearing you. I'll tell you right now, my challenge is
that's really good stuff. Too bad. Take it on. I trust in you, Shane.
Okay, I'm going to give this a shot. I'm going to give you my gratitude, and I'm grateful that we have this opportunity.
Awesome. Okay, almost good.
And I got to mute you because it's so delayed right now. But we have this diversity of I'm a young age. I'm at my late 20s, and you're at we'll just say an experienced age, and we get to tap into a large range of audience. We get to tap into my generation as well as your generation, and that's what I'm so grateful for. Even though maybe today it might just be me talking, we'll see how that works out. But hopefully you're able to come back in with us and tackle these challenges together. Either way, I'm going to take this challenge of hosting this all solo today. Because the show must go on, and that's the beauty of live action is there's no going back, there's no editing. We just go forward. So in that gratitude, again, I just want to remind everybody watching that it's not just about our gratitudes. The whole reason is for you guys to be grateful. I love to see your gratitudes in the comments, but it's a constant reminder, not just doing it weekly, but daily. Get in that practice of gratitude, and you'll see some things take flight and take shape in your life. So I'm hoping that I'm at least clear and people can hear me. I want to hear from the comments. Is my connection good? I know Dave is out a little bit. Oh, we got Rex showing up. We got Billy. How's it going, Billy? We got Paul is in the house. And let's see, we got Paul Lechuga. Man, I have not seen you since high school. Hope everything is well. Karen Love Lee. Obviously, the connection's not so good. So we got a lot of people tuning in. But, okay, we got yeses. We got some yeses. People can hear me. So it definitely was just Dave's end then. So the show must go on. I'm going to take this solo, but I'm not going to be solo because today we're going to be co-creating. And I've got some great people that I just mentioned that are also extraordinary coaches in their own right. And as we go through some of these challenges that I've experienced and I've worked with my clients with, but also some of the challenges that you as viewers are going through right now, I want to hear in the comments from some of our coaches, some of our extreme focus certified coaches, the ones that are going through the training. They're just brilliant, amazing. I want to hear your guys' takes. I'm going to do my best to take on everything that I can, but I'd love to hear you guys as you go. We got Paul saying you look good, sound perfect. Thank you. We got a yes. We got a lot of yeses. We got hello. We can hear and see you from my beautiful wife. All right. I guess we're good to go. So let me just start off with just saying for anybody that follows me on Instagram, I do a weekly queek, and that's the quote of the week. And I love to challenge you guys to see who said this quote. And I'll give you a hint. You go to Instagram, not right now. Don't Google it either. But you follow me consistently, you'll be able to remember who these authors are. So this week's queek is be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And I think that's such a great quote. And I'll give you a hint. It's the founder of Patagonia. So if anybody knows his no. Is it? No. That's another quote. I'm mixing it up now. I got so many quotes in my head. I just can't wait to share them all. So I think that's next week's. Giving you guys a little spoiler alert. But speaking of Instagram, me and a few other brilliant coaches that are also on Instagram, and we have that platform, we're going to be doing this giveaway here this next week. And I'm very excited to get that kicked off and started because it's going to be fun. We're going to have a lot of cool prizes and a lot of things that are going to help and could possibly change your life with just the giveaways alone. So if you want to get notified when that giveaway starts and to make sure that you get entered, go and follow me at Shane Austin 10. So if you go on Instagram, you can find me there, Shane Austin 10. But I'm collaborating again. I'm just bringing in the great minds so we can all come together. And we got a winner already. David Norris is on it with the author of the queek. Be yourself. Everyone else is already taken. And that is such I want to go back to the quote because it's going to go right into our tip of the day. And a lot of people look to others for guidance and for the answers. And I think that's great. Obviously we want we want to have mentors and we want to have help with guidance and stuff. But a lot of times, they do so much that they try to copycat and do exactly how they do it. You still got to find your own way. You got to find your own path. And my tip today is challenge and question. The word of the day is challenge. Challenge what you hear. Any kind of information that you process, whether it's from me, whether it's another coach of any sort, anybody putting inspirational stuff, motivational things, anything like that. Challenge the idea in your head. Question it. See if it resonates with you. Even if it's me, question what I'm saying. Because I'll tell you, if you don't agree with it, if it doesn't resonate with you, then great. It helps you identify what does resonate with you and which direction and how you can be your true self. But if it does, and it does mean something to you, and you're like, okay, that makes sense, just by the fact that you questioned it, it just hits it home even more for you, and it just solidifies it. And I've gone through those same in my own life, just challenging different things that I've heard. I'm like, well, does that make sense? I don't know. And at first, when I don't agree with it, later on, I might come back to it. I'm in a different place. And now I'm like, okay, now this makes sense. This is amazing stuff. I didn't realize it back then, but now I'm aligned with it and I'm ready to move forward with that. So that's my tip. You really question it. Challenge me today. Challenge me today with your challenges. So we got new Ferrari. I'm in. Here we go. We got Tony saying, way to go, David Norris, master of the queek. He is the master of the queek. And David Norris himself. It is good to be me. I am very good at being me. Nobody else is as good at being me as I am at being me, besides everyone else is taken. That's a great one right now. Well, what if I want to be you? Is that possible? I don't think so. So last but not least, obviously I'm solo today, and we're gonna be tackling some free coaching, and now it's all on my shoulders. But one thing is that we love so much, and when David is with us, Dave Austin, we love if you take a moment, share this video. If it's something that resonates with you, if somebody's facing a challenge that they need to overcome, put them in front of this. They can get their question answered. And, engage, comment, put your question out there. And it might be a little nerve-wracking to go out there and be vulnerable and have a comment in front of people. And I love it, Rex. Prove all things and hold fast to that which is true. Brilliant words. And where is Aloha Dave? He is not with us right now. We're having technical difficulties. If you just entered, it's a solo show today. I love this. How do we bring the shotgun formation back to AFL? That's my challenge. And for some of you that know, I played in the AFL, and everything's under center. In college, everything was in shotgun. So I've had the best of both worlds, and I think that there is a place for the shotgun. But anyways, I love the engagement already. We're already getting into it. This is amazing. But I want to just start by saying that we all have challenges. It doesn't matter how big or how little. Everybody has challenges. And I do see Dave is in the lobby. Let's see if he's able to join us right now.
Hey.
Oh, there you are.
Am I here? Am I here?
You are here.
Oh, my God. What a blessing. When I left, I went, it's God's way that I knew and trust in you and everything that you've learned. So if I'm not meant to be there at that moment, and hopefully you can hear me, I knew that I went and moved into a different place where I just prayed for a little bit better. And one of the things that I think you said that I think we can all learn, something, an inspiration hit me so strong today. When I got up, the winds were really blowing here. I'm in Utah. Notice I have my Aloha shirt on, but I've got my sport coat on too, because I went to a business luncheon that I talked at. And I promoted Aloha Fridays. They're all like, whoa, Aloha shirt with the beads. I'm going like, yeah, I got a show to do, baby. I'm going to be here. And Aloha means love. So I'm going to bring my love today. And so everybody loved it. Everyone loved it. I brought some spirit here, but I got up and it was really windy. And as I was driving, I was thinking about things and challenges, because this is what this is about. And I was thinking about when I was Kathy and I were on the Sea of Galilee, we went out into the Sea of Galilee, and all of a sudden the winds came up, and it got scary. The waves were going, and Mary Morrissey, who was our leader here, she and Joe, her husband. So we went with Mary and Joe to no better place to go to follow the footsteps of Jesus than with Mary and Joseph. But the waves are going, the winds were blowing. And I got crazy inspiration. I said to the captain, stop, I want to walk on water. And the guy looked at it like I was crazy, and he was really afraid. The winds, it didn't scare me. It was just wind, right? But he really thought I was crazy, but I meant it. I don't know. I wanted to walk. And so today, as the winds were coming up, and we have a challenge going on for us right now, a great one, a beautiful one. Sometimes challenges can just take you to the next level of your life. But anyway, it was like this inspiration hit that, when Jesus said, winds be still, and the winds were still, and the sea became calm, the inspiration said, he was talking about the winds and the turbulence within us. We have total control over that. So when you think it in those terms, say, winds be still, that conflict that's within. And then as I do that, and it's in the very breath, the calmness hits, and then you have an inspiration, and you handle it totally different. I gave a coaching call right after that inspiration came to me, and the president of the company, he was like, I got 5 different things going on. I said, you'll always have 5 different things going on. It'll always be there. But you're reacting to all their storms. Why don't you calm your storm within you first? And see the magic that takes place. He was talking about their accountant made a mistake. He says, she was just so defensive. Wish she would have just said, thanks for catching that. I said, well, have you ever tried to defend yourself when someone tells you you're wrong? Well, yeah. I said, why don't you heal your defensiveness first, then go to her and say, hey, there was a mistake here. I think we can change this. And all of a sudden it becomes we instead of you. And when we take on things like that, it's like what we do when we don't realize it's a storm within us. We come to the other storm. And have you ever seen when 2 storms come together, you got the ultimate storm. But if one storm dissipates, then this storm has nothing that can go on. So I think when we think about challenges, and I think about that biblical sense of, wind be still. All of a sudden, I'm thinking, when today as I was driving, I'm going, I don't know how to make those winds still, but wait a minute. I know how I can quiet myself to bring the winds within me to be still. And then the calm seas show up, and all of a sudden I got inspired and I got excited. It's an amazing way to take on challenges. So there you have it.
Calm the seas of the bad, iffy Wi-Fi. And I think, we see the title right there is we all have challenges. Sometimes yours is technology, and I have to help you overcome those challenges. And I love Karen says, how do we bring the end zone dance back to the NFL? Well, it's in China. If you come follow me on CAFL, we got plenty of end zone dances that, Karen, you should help me create a dance. But I want to get into, as we talk about some of these challenges that we've experienced, but also we've worked with our clients to help overcome. I want the viewers now just start thinking about different challenges that you're either facing right now, something that you've faced in the past, a friend maybe. Maybe this is something that you could help and lend an encouraging hand just by something you learned here today. So we would love for you to put in the comments, and we can get these questions answered today right here. And we got Devin. What's up, Devin? Mind over matter. Love what you're doing here. Congrats on your wedding, by the way. Hey, thank you. Appreciate it. Karen, bam, done and done. I love it. A lot of engagement today. We got Aaron Garcia in the house. Challenges are awesome. Otherwise, life would be boring. And Veronica. That maybe was from Veronica. I think that's what that's saying. So let's just go over some of the challenges that we've experienced with our clients. And just for those that don't know, we're both extreme focus coaches. We're mental performance coaches that help take, whether it's athletes, whether it's businesses, to that higher level, higher performance in whatever area of life. Maybe it's just happiness. Maybe it's, success is however you define it. Maybe that is just happiness. And we have a proven system that we've been using with Navy SEALs, Army Rangers, Olympic athletes, Fortune 500 companies. It's amazing. The list goes on. So we definitely have our share of stories. And, I'll just start off with one that comes to mind. Is one client I was particularly working with was facing a great deal of overwhelm and stress from that. If anybody here has ever felt a little bit of overwhelm, just type in overwhelmed in the comments below. But I think everybody's felt that at some extent. And we were talking about goals. So we have a system of setting some very clear and defined goals. And that was something that made her feel a little uncomfortable. She's like, well, goals have never really worked for me because, I get so discouraged when I don't hit them. I just have so many. And at the end of the day, that's all I can think about. And I don't sleep because I'm not hitting any of my goals. And so we started diving into it like, okay, let's figure out what they are. And she's like, well, I have 45 goals. And then we started going through them a little bit. And we're like, okay, those aren't goals. Those are to-dos. To-dos are great. To-dos help us towards those goals. And they help us achieve those projects step by step. But we got to prioritize if we want to hit those goals. Now, we have in our system, our beast, our animal instinct system, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit, we have a particular system of goal setting that helps you narrow it down and be very specific and really develop a strategy to achieve those goals. But one thing with her that I had to talk about, it was prioritizing. It was like, okay, you can't finish all 45 of these in one day. It's just impossible. And you keep beating yourself up. That's the first thing. Don't beat yourself up. Reward yourself when you hit just one goal. She wasn't rewarding herself. And you got to prioritize and think of, okay, what are the next action steps I can take on 3 of them? The other ones, let's just put them away in the drawer. A lot of times
before you do, did you see Tony's comment? Did you see it? It just popped up. I saw it. And I love this. You mentioned it before. Tony has the right thing. When you're talking about priority, get my to-do list of 45. Well, the first goal is to write your list. So you've already achieved one goal.
Yeah, no, that one has been a great one that Tony's brought up, is that maybe your goal, the first one is so simple of just creating your set of 10 goals. Like, that's it. Once you create those 10, you can check off the first one. You've already hit your first goal, and then you're in the mindset of hitting goals. And it's amazing how our minds work, because our minds are truly goal-seeking mechanisms. Once we see that little check, we got one, then it just fuels the momentum. So we started working on creating little goals to get to those medium goals, to get to those bigger goals. We still have the bigger picture in mind down the run, but there's only so much you can do in one day. So what is today? What can we do? And then reward yourself in that moment after you've achieved it. It might be the simplest of things, but I'll tell you, it has some psychological effects in moving forward and achieving more goals. Mark, Dave supporting the Aloha Business Formal Casual Look at Lunch Speaking event. The new version. Yeah, Aloha Friday's going to be casual. I don't know about this whole coat thing. I think I'm going to end this. We got some overwhelm here. Well, do you have any clients, any stories that come to mind of challenge that you've helped them overcome?
Are you talking? Oh, sorry. You're asking me that. I was so into all the messages I'm seeing. I love Megan says, you go to your app that you give to help. But there's so many that come to mind. One that was just recent. A few weeks ago, I had a PGA golfer who was playing in a tournament, and he was doing well. First day, he was in the hunt. Second day, he's doing well. And an official came up to him and said, "You're on the clock." Now, in golf terms, means you're going too slow. We're going to penalize you.
Right.
And he's in a threesome, didn't penalize anybody else. And
guest on our show.
Huh?
James. Right?
Yeah, it was James, right.
Yes, so you go back to the replays.
Well, no, but that was before this happened.
Right, I know. That's what's great about it. It's live. This is actually happening. This isn't just stuff that happened way back when, guys. This is happening in the moment.
Yeah, and so all of a sudden the official goes, point penalty stroke. Now, in golf, you can lose by one stroke easily. Penalty strokes are not something you want to have. And he got mad, which is easy. The wind started to blow within him. But he he set an intention to be in calm strength that day. And, Kathy wants me to take off the jacket. I don't know. I just saw that. How's that? My wife.
I'm feeling a little more comfortable. I'm in my comfort zone of Aloha Friday. It was getting a little too formal for me. And as you notice, I got the palm trees as well. So
I hold on just a second. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah. But anyway, so you can imagine how upsetting that is when he was in Europe. He went over there to qualify for the European Tour, and he found that they don't really want Americans to qualify. And so this is their way of getting to him. But he said calm strength, took his deep breath, and the very next hole, another penalty. That's 2-stroke penalty. And it's like he's ready to fume. But we coach so much that what overrides is into my intentions are to stay calm. So he was able to get out, even with the 2-stroke penalties, and stay within contention. But that night when he called me from London, he said, "This is a challenge." And he says, and I said, well, wait a minute. If this is a challenge, and challenge what is the gift within this challenge? Because we had said the other thing the intention was allow the best to be whatever the best will be. So maybe this is the best. We don't see it as the best, but why don't we look and see how can this be the best? So he changed, and he got, you know what? When I was in college, the reason I was one of the best players in college is no one believed I could be. So I kind of used it to fuel me. I said, what a perfect gift right now to remember that, because you're not the top player on the PGA Tour like you were the top player in college. And he just realized that this maybe, all right, I'm going to see this as a gift rather than a challenge. And guess what? It was amazing. But he went out and they told him one more delay, he is disqualified. So he's got that kind of pressure on him too. But now he's going, I said, hey, why don't you play twice as fast as anybody else? Just in spite. Why don't you use it and do that and still play even better than you've ever played? And guess what? He nailed it. He nailed it. He didn't just qualify for the tour. He was way beyond it. It was remarkable. So there's a challenge that looked like and would have taken him down if he didn't, let's say if he didn't have a support system in play. Support systems are so important because, we're all human beings. Even though I've been coaching him for a while, if he would have just relied in that moment on the frustration and the challenge, he would have gone down. But by having that support system, and it's funny, he always tells me, always has me in my ear because I've recorded some things for him. And so when he needs it, he just puts his headset in and he listens to me, and it reminds him of how to take on this challenge. And then all of a sudden it's not a challenge. Isn't that funny? When he told me that one time I was with him and he was in the playoffs and I was at the course and I thought, well, he's got a few minutes before he tees off to go to the playoff. That's the pressure. You just shot 7 under and all it did is put you in a playoff. And he's like, and I said, hey, do you want a game ready? He goes, shh, I'm listening to you right now. Oh, I don't want to interrupt me.
Well, that's the beautiful thing. And we do have an announcement coming up here a little later of something that we've been working on. It kind of goes with your story right here.
It does go with the story.
Back on that. So make sure you stay tuned because you might be able to have Dave in your ear wherever you go, which is pretty cool. And I'm already seeing some comments with different questions. I know Devin has a question or a challenge that we want to address. Willie has one down there. I'm going to go through these here in a little bit. I'm just going to share one more that I've seen and worked with. And as I do that, maybe you can even scan some of these comments, Dave, and start digesting how you want to tackle it.
I can't see him. You're the only one that gets to see him.
Okay.
I can't wait.
You see now? Okay. That's
I
one.
See that one.
That's one of them. So we'll have some more that we're going to go through and continue asking as we go. And if we don't address your question today in the live, I promise you we're going to go through all these comments and we're going to give you something. So make sure, even if you're watching the replay, throw in a question. We're gonna see it. Don't worry. But one other thing that comes to mind is, I was working with a politician. Actually, I never thought I'd ever get into politics, but one of the challenges that he had, I mean, he's obviously a very busy man. Anybody who's in politics knows that it's a very busy job when you're running for a high office, and he had very little sleep. He was working 13 some hours a day and getting a lot of stuff done. But it was a challenge, and he had an opportunity to go speak to some kids. And in front of these kids, he just felt like he was so exhausted and drained, physically, mentally drained, just from everything, that he wasn't able to stay in that present moment to give his best talk. He said he gave a good talk, good speech, but he didn't connect with them the way he wanted to because he just didn't have that energy. He was kind of frantic all over the place, but also exhausted. And we talked about one particular way of getting present and a way to really tap into that breath to where you can be at a calm, composed state to deliver. Even when you're exhausted, you can find that composure within. You can find that peace of mind and that energy. Really, it's an invisible energy, but you can tap into it when you need it the most. And we have a system, I talked about that already, of animals. We use animals as triggers to really help us overcome challenges, but they're also reminders. They're one-word triggers that puts us right into right action. And the particular animal that we used for this one was the crocodile. And for those that have gone through our program before, they all know the name of the crocodile. And I think some people could probably just type it in right now what the crocodile is called. I
want to see it. Who's going to be first? Who's going to be first?
Seconds. What is the crocodile's name? For those that know, what is the name we give it? Before I give away the answer, we'll give them a couple more seconds, and then I gotta dive into it. But I'll tell you one thing: as people are going to type those in, hopefully we have somebody who knows who the crocodile is. The first and foremost, it's all about taking that breath so that you can, we got a
winner.
What is this?
Oh my gosh!
Oh man!
A bunch that coming on.
Dunks and dosage. So we got Rex says RESPA, observe the challenge just long enough, then move into a receptive state to experience a solution to the challenge. All challenges are designed to show us more clearly what we truly desire. Apply all known tools to move into alignment. That is a beautiful answer. I don't even – this is what I love about the support of this team and the people along this is we can get so many different answers, and it doesn't have to be us up here giving the answers.
Read this one.
The intention of money. Set the goal, vision, and intention to generate the most money, $100K in a quarter, and hit it. But got hit with unexpected expenses and taxes that equaled that and 50% more. Dealing with the concept of money abundance versus making more but still falling behind as expenses exceed. How do you coach someone through the mindset around the literal money challenges in life? Okay, that's a good one. We're going to come back to that one in a second when we start getting to the live answer. And there we go. RESPA, baby. Dave's croc is Ressa. That's so funny. I'm going to explain what
Shut up, Tony.
So you'll see why this is so funny. RESPA is the answer right there. RESPA with a P. In all air, let me put up one of the correct answers. So then we'll come back to that. RESA. Geez, now I'm saying it. The crocodile is RESPA. It's relax. That's that breath.
Take the breath, the very breath.
And again, I'm doing an abbreviated version here. It's evaluate. It's strategize. Patience. That's the P. And then act. A lot of times we just go straight to act, and we let the emotions get in. We let whatever it is that's going on through our day, like the politician, if he's exhausted from all the deals he had to make, or the challenges that he had to overcome, he might not bring his same gift to something that's a whole different audience. That new audience doesn't know the challenges that he went through. But if you don't wrestle and you just go into act without doing that process and without taking that breath to center yourself, then you're in a whole different energy. We always want to be at that composed, level-headed energy when we go into anything. So why is RESA so funny, Dave? Can you tell it?
I am, and it's so great that you can tell people who have been through the Beast program, WOTAR. People who've never been through our program will go, what's WOTAR? We all know it. We speak our own language now. But RESA means, and Tony, who I love to work with when we go out and do trainings to businesses, is I tend to, instead of RESPA, I RESA, means I forget the patience part.
Probably the most important part.
Tell me if you can't, someone out there can't relate to not having patience. It's, and we have a beautiful saying in our program called get there fast by going slow. And that lesson was strictly for me. Roger, the one, I think he developed it because of me. I just want to get there. Come on, get there. And then what happens is you make mistakes, and then it's taking you more time to get there because of the mistakes and your rush that you created. But if you can breathe and take your time, it seems like you've slowed everything down, but you get there faster. Think of you as a quarterback, and you're in the pocket. How big is RESPA? How big is patience so that you can act with accuracy to you?
Well, yeah, I'll talk about for athletes because it really can be applied to anything. Whoever watching, if it's business, if it's sports, if it's anything, RESPA is a game changer. And if I act without that, get there fast by going slow, if I just throw with my upper body and I just don't get anything engaged in it, I don't get my legs, the importance of grounding your legs, and Cree, who's been a guest on ours, will attest to that. But I just rush it. I get it out quick, and I don't have as much velocity, don't have as much accuracy. A lot of times I throw an interception or an incomplete because I don't have my legs engaged. It's all upper body, and I'm throwing off my back foot. When I take that moment, even though in a split second it feels like it's taking longer to ground my legs, get grounded, RESPA applies to anything. Get grounded before you do anything. And to drive that force in, then I have more velocity. Then I have more accuracy, and that ball ends up getting there quicker than if I were to just rush it right now. And we can apply that, you can tell, to anything in life. So,
well, that thing that Rex said, it's so funny because he's a coach too. And I just, as you said that, I go, probably his tagline should be in his coaching is, I ground you. Because he's so big on that very, in the way that he coaches. That's really what he is. He's a master of grounding you. He does it with your breathing. He gets you connected to that aspect. So, anyway, Rex, there you go.
So we talk about, we just brought up RESPA is one of our animals, and we have a system of 15 of our core animals that have a principle that lead to everything. And it's amazing that the impact it's made. Again, going back to the Navy SEALs and the Olympic athletes, they're all using RESPA, and they're all high performing and absolutely loving it. But the challenge that we were faced with is, obviously Dave is an expensive to work with one-on-one. Yeah. I mean, what is, it's money.
What is expense? It's all about value, but it's right. It may cost money, and it might seem like expensive unless you can shift the conversation into, well, what's the value? Say someone hires me, and if they make $1 million because of that hire, what does it cost them? That's what I'm just saying. But you're right. I agree. But
no, and you bring so much value that far surpasses anything that you charge, which is so amazing. And then we have our training our 30-day training where we get a big group of people in and we share these principles with them, and they're absolutely loving it. But again, it's an investment. It's around $500, and we're just still like, how do we still reach maybe the average, the person just watching right now that has no idea what this stuff is? We have finally come up with something that we can deliver to the masses where we don't have to, it doesn't take our entire time to work with every single one of you individually, but you guys can all have access to all of these beast animals and these triggers, because they're mental triggers that help get you into right action. And you can dive into them just like a good book. You can keep going back to them over and over again and learn something new each time. And that's what I found. Even in teaching it, I'm learning something new every single time. And we've already brought up one of them, but I want to officially announce that we have come up with what we call Beast Triggers. What is Beast Triggers? It's these triggers that we're talking about. RESPA is just one of them. And we're just about to launch. We have not launched yet, but I wanted to, since we're here and we get to, share with you live viewers, and I just want to, kind of reward you guys for just being here and showing up. We decided we're going to do a little pre-launch, a beta version, and it's all ready to go. It's completely ready to take off. But we want to give you guys an opportunity, if you guys wanted to hop in and be the first ones before we officially launch it. And when we officially launch it, it is going to be a $97 product. So now it's at an affordable rate where you get all this amazing content that are at the top levels, but you don't have to pay that premium. You get it in your ear. You get us in your ear. And there's two versions. There's one for business, one for athletes, but they both can apply and amazing. The one for business is, Tony, as he's been talking on here a little bit here. Let me bring Ressa back up. Tony, right here. He's been a guest on our show. And you guys both tag team the business side of how you apply these triggers. And it's unbelievable seeing that, you are in that intuitive way where you just go and you trial by fire. Tony brings in the science behind it and understands why this stuff is going on in your brain and how we can truly tap into that at a more effective way. And Tony's an absolute rock star. Watch that replay on Micro Moments, one of our Aloha Friday.
Oh, my gosh. And read anything he writes. Anytime you see Tony Bono's name on it, go, this is worth the time, because the guy's brilliant. And I joke a lot of times, like, we don't need to know the frickin' science. It just works. But tell you the truth, when he brings the science to it, I now am even being more open to go, wow, that's cool. That's really cool. I never knew why this was working. Now I do. And Tony brings that brilliance to it. And I'm so glad that he does so much study. Now everything we do, I've been doing this for years and I see the results. So I work off of, I guess over the years, trial by error, and it's just work it and work it and work it. And I read a lot and then I add this. And then Tony comes along that is so studied, and he keeps studying, and he brings this wisdom that I'm just like, whoa. And when they're matched together, it becomes a powerful, powerful piece. And so
here's the cool part about it. I sorry to cut you off. Is, they take on the two of them, the business approach. Me and you take on the athletic approach, but in these, we have a whole system of coaches that are amazing, brilliant. We have Major League Baseball players in there. We have, who else do we have? We have business. We have so many different people that give their take and their perspective on these same principles, and we've collaborated all into these audios that you can just listen to us in your ear. And again, I said I wanted to reward you guys for being here in the pre-launch. I said it's 97, but we're actually going to give it to anybody here. I'm going to put a link here in the comments, and it's actually going to just be half off, more than half off, $47 to get it right now before we officially launch it. So get it now before it goes up to 97, and you can thank us later. But that's where we're at. Should we get into the actual?
I want to get into the challenges, man. Let's take them on. There's some really good questions.
I'm going to scroll down now. I get like this much of a window to see these comments, so that's why sometimes I miss them. But I'm going to scroll down to some of the ones that typed in before. Okay, Karen. Okay. Can you read that? You want to read that out loud?
I can see it. What are the most powerful ways to sustain blind Feho? Now, she's a member of the Extreme Focus family in the Beast program. Feho is faith and hope. Yeah. So just for those that never heard it, so blind faith and hope, when there are absolutely no signs or evidence whatsoever, meaning it looks virtually impossible that I'm on the right track with my crystal clear objectives and intentions, and there's a steadfast due date and deadline coming. Wow, that's pretty powerful. I think that's, if we answer that and we let the people, the brilliant, there's a lot of really brilliant people on this telecast. You're all our guests today. There's some brilliant answers that are going to come out of this. But let's take that on right to begin with. I'll be first if it's all right.
Yeah, take it.
For me, there are times that I question, is this fear showing up or is this truth showing up? That's why we have the process. It's a 5-step process. Now, everyone can have their own way of getting there, but I have the 5-step process that I do so that I can get to the deepest part of me, so I can hear the voice. For me, I believe it's the voice of God. You can call me crazy or whatever, but it always brings me great wisdom. Then I can trust in it. And even if I don't see the signs, even if they're not there in front of me at the moment, I have such deep level of trust that even if it looks maybe just the opposite at this moment, the trust and the faith, and you might call it blind faith, I call it wide open vision faith. All of a sudden it appears. And it takes courage and it takes commitment to step through where you're going through, where everything seems to be the opposite of what it should be. But since I've surrendered, not surrendered to losing, but surrendered to victory, I know victory's here. I just have to keep opening my eyes, not close my eyes. Because in fear, our first instinct is to close our eyes and don't breathe. I do just the opposite now. I open my eyes and I breathe deep. And all of a sudden, something's revealed that's better than anything that I thought it could be. It's not exactly what I thought, but because I had enough courageous, I was courageous enough to take the steps, God revealed something that I couldn't see at the lower step. One step gave me a little bit better view. Another step gave me a better view. And so even when I get up to about 7 steps up, maybe it's changed, but it's even better than what I envisioned from down here. But what most people do is they get to about third step, if they even get there, they run back. Because, in a value system, you're going to do what you value most. Whatever you value most is what you're going to do. And this is a subconscious thing that people don't even realize. So if you value your dreams unbelievably, that's one thing. But you can see and think you value that. But when you run back, it means truly what you really value is your comfort zone. You value your comfort zone more than your dream. So what you do is you go back to your comfort zone. And to get to one thing, I've done so much studying of successful people, the difference maker, here's the biggest key you could ever get, is be willing to step the step uncomfortably and then breathe through that and take another step. And you start becoming more comfortable being uncomfortable. But that's how you step through this, where I don't see any signs. It's like sometimes that's restive for me. I don't have patience. God, you didn't show it to me. I don't see it. I want to run back because now my body's shaking. The storms of the winds are flying through me. But we joke about it, but I truly have begun to learn patience and breathing better than I ever have in my life. And the best results I've ever seen in my life are showing up. So I'm so excited because I'm allowing myself to keep stepping into a better version of me. So that's my take on it. And now I'll shut up.
It was a beautiful take. So I'm glad that you were able to find Wi-Fi so you could have your take. And I'm glad to hear that. But it takes a practice, to tap into that inner voice. We use the animals to learn from their instincts and how we can apply it to our lives. But we truly have instincts from within. And it's about tapping into that inner voice. We have the answers within. And we look for these outside sources. Where's the answers? But if we can silence ourselves, quiet our minds, we can find them within. But it does take a practice, and it does take routine. So I'm going to get to the next one.
Before you go on, Aaron, who's brilliant, Aaron and Veronica are so brilliant. Man, they're such a gift. There's so many different ways. I mentioned Rex. There's Mark, there's Karen. There's all those that do wonderful gifts for everyone. But one of the things, I didn't see this one, look within Karen, always trust that the best thing for you will happen. But the other thing he said, maybe hasn't shown up yet, is stay positive. And that's Mima Lima. Now you might say, what's Mima Lima? For those that are in the Beast program. And I won't go into that right now. You'll get it in the program. But it's about learning how to filter in, leave the negatives outside and filter in positive. It's proven, scientific fact, that we are stronger and more creative in a positive state of mind than we are in a negative state of mind. So it's that ability to learn when to have the armadillos or lima lima, the armor up to keep the negative out, because there'll be enough out there. Trust me, every day there's enough out there voices. But that's what you talked about, going within. But then allow the positive to come into your inner being. So that's what Aaron is saying here. Very simple.
It's Veronica, actually.
Veronica, I'm sorry. Veronica, keep your thoughts positive. And that sounds like such a simple thing, but that takes a practice when you're feeling the winds starting to stir up within you.
Now, I want to say I did post a link in the comments so anybody can check it out. But check it out afterwards. Listen to this live cast. But one thing I forgot to do, and I got to give our graphic artist some credit here, because these are beautiful graphics. Look at that. We got here. Let me hide this. We got beast triggers for athletes, and we got beast triggers for business.
I love it.
They just got finished up this morning. That's how live we are, truly live, because these graphics just got finished this morning. So we're excited to be able to announce these two beautiful products. So now,
hey, you might not see it because it hasn't come up yet, but I saw Breathe, Refocus, Repeat by the brilliance of Paul. Now, Paul, can you imagine? He's a professor, college professor. Can you imagine? Do you have any college professors that had the brilliance that now that you know Paul? Is that a gift to these kids, young adults, that they've got a professor that understands life at this level? Breathe, refocus, repeat. Very simple, but incredibly powerful. And so many of our professors, at least when I was in school, wouldn't have any kind of understanding of that. So bless you, Paul, for bringing brilliance to,
Well, you say simple, but hey, that which is easy to do is easy not to do. And sometimes we just have to be reminded of the simplest things can make the biggest impact. So let's get to the next one. We got Willie. Oh, man, this takes up the whole screen. Here we go. 2017. A friend of mine seemingly has been facing adversity after adversity, one hit after the other, in regards to two different car situations. By no fault their own. One person whom they were in the midst of purchasing a car from fell through on their agreement, followed by a purchase of a used car that should not have been sold. The money used and lost in those two situations could have gone towards this semester's school tuition for this person, and hopefully Paul was his professor, but thus leaving them in a financial bind moving forward. How is one able to overcome the unforeseen challenges that may come about, rather putting ourselves in the very best situation by which they are still afforded positives in seemingly negative situation? Whew, that was a mouthful.
That's a big one. Can I take that on? Is that all right?
Yeah,
I love that. It happens.
Go for it.
You want it? You can have it.
You start. I'll get it.
Well, I'm going to bring it to because of some of the circumstances I've had with athletes. So I have this one athlete. He was a quarterback, a brilliant quarterback. I mean, this guy, I think, is the best quarterback ever to play the game. And I'm not prejudiced about this quarterback.
Talking about me? You can't be talking about me. Come on.
There's the ring, baby. There's the ring. So you got set back with, now this looks like the worst thing in the world. You were going to be the starter. And
it actually is me. I was kidding.
and you were all of a sudden put not at second string, but third string. Now, yeah, so bear with me because this is just an instance because there's all kinds of issues that show up. For you, it was all of a sudden being put in third string. And you're Mr. Positive, and it's the first time you ever called me actually in tears. Okay, I'm letting people know that you're able to.
Letting people know I cry. I'm supposed to be a strong, tough football player. We don't cry. No, in all honesty, it's a beautiful thing to be able to let down your walls and open up.
And so I said, well, listen, I'll make some phone calls. Maybe you should change colleges. And instantly, because of like Ken O'Brien, who's a big believer of yours, who was the quarterback coach at USC and taught Carson Palmer. He was also a great quarterback for the New York Jets himself, one of the best quarterback coaches. Because you're kidding. My brother is the head coach for Sacramento State. They'll take him in an instant. And they were going to be playing Stanford in 2 weeks. This is at the end of camp. And you would have started against Stanford. It was like, Shane, so is this your best? Because we always, because in the Beast program, we're like, this looks bad. What's the good here? And what did I tell you to do? And then you can take it over from here and tell me the results of something that looked terrible into what happened.
Well, again, you made me look inwardly rather than outwardly and do what we call the process, which is a 5-step process into opening up into that deep wisdom from within. And I was able to just really ask the questions and find some answers, because really it is about the questions. The answers show up when you have the right questions. But I felt I trusted my instinct, went with blind faith, just knowing something was drawing me back to University of Hawaii rather than transferring. Even though logic was telling me I should go this way and transfer, I just felt it within my gut that I had to stay. And I've just been in tune with listening to that. When you feel that so strongly, you go and you listen to it. And I was fortunate enough, I had some great success on the football field, but I also got to meet my wife, who is now my wife, but she wasn't back then. But I did get to meet Megan Austin. And now so fortunate, she's been a guest on this show. She comments in here quite often, but that was a huge reminder to me to trust my instincts and my inner intuition, because I would have never met her if I didn't stay and I didn't trust that voice. So I'm very glad and fortunate that I did move on with that. But I want to say, just with that scenario, a lot of those situations in that particular challenge was out of his control. A lot of times how do we control everything? And I've been that way, growing up. I was a control freak, and I still have some control issues that I work on. But a lot of times we have to let go and allow, and we do whatever we can in the moment. The best prep, we use RESPA. If you've gone through your prep and you get on the relax, evaluate, strategize, patience, and then you act on that particular car, and then something out of your control, like he says in the comment, is it went south, and that was something out of your control. You can't beat yourself up for it, but you again, that I'll go back to what Paul said: breathe, refocus, repeat. You did your process. You stayed in the geez, Megan calling me out. Control issues, not you.
Only a wife can do that in a beautiful way.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, maybe that's my challenge. You can help me through that. But he can apply RESPA. He can apply. We have a koala that would probably answer this question very well. A lot of times things are out of our control. We just have to say, oh, well, and continue to move forward. Instead of saying, oh, hell, gets us out of our composure, and it gets us out of, our true brilliance. We get all negative and in this rut where we start attracting more bad things to us. Oh, well, gives us that sense of calm, collected strength. Your attitude is something that you can always control. You can't control those outside circumstances that happen to you, but you can control how you're going to react and respond to it. And that's what that does.
I want to say one more thing, because it's Willie. Willie's a brilliant football player, and he's got a fan base out there because of his brilliance and all this controversy in pro football and everything is out there. So Willie's putting his heart and soul out there, and I saw him this is going to relate back to the card too, but I saw him put out something that he feels is important for him in his position to share. And one of his big fans, who is so bitter, and I'm not trying to be political, but he's a Trump follower that hates anybody that doesn't love everything Trump does. And so this guy's so bitter, he got fans, and fans started attacking Willie for his belief system in the fact of equal rights and those kind of things and all that. And I saw that. I was going to actually put something down. I ended up not doing it, but the fan, that fan that was after it and looking into it, I felt so sorry and so much compassion for the fan, because he's struggling with cancer. And I realized, because he's a friend of mine on Facebook, that I had to finally I can't handle this, because I feel so sorry for him, because he's killing himself with all his anger. And so I just wanted to say with Willie, I don't know how you felt when you started getting the fan base to go against you. Forgive them for what they do not see and do what they do not do. Because in this case, I see this guy with so much anger, and he wonders why he's being beriddled with cancer. And that might almost seem cruel. It's not cruel. I don't want to see this guy leave this earth. He's actually a beautiful man. He just is, in politics right now and all the stuff that's going on, it's part of a game plan to stir up anger. It's what Hitler did. He stirred up anger, and they all put it to someplace else rather than bringing it to ourselves. And if we control who we are, then any situation, even a car situation where we lost money and we got ripped off, take it to yourself. And this is the hardest thing to do when in that particular situation, because you cannot see what good could this possibly be. Take your focus off of what you don't want into what you would love. And I just read that because even though it's not showing yet, that's what Rex, somehow I saw that pop up. That's what Rex just said.
And I gotta say, regardless of whatever your beliefs are, whether it's politics or it's any issue, we have difference of opinion. Everybody does. But when we can come from love, that's the most powerful thing. And that is all healing. Love is such a powerful thing. So I need to cancel you for a little bit. I need to get to the next questions. But
I'm so excited. I could go 3 hours on this one alone.
Okay, so a lot of these can go into a lot of depth, and we just don't have the time to get to all of them. But again, I remind you, encourage, you can go get to these audios. You can get connected with us offline as well. But for now, for the show, let's just get to the next one. We got Devin here that says, any tips on connecting with people to create passion for a common goal? I've taken for granted that cohesiveness in collegiate sports and noticed difficulties in the professional world with this. And I'll say one thing is sports is an amazing thing, especially team sports, amazing at bringing people together for a common goal, because you really find out immediately through wins and losses, what do we need to learn from and what do we need to grow from? And it's amazing when a team can come together on a goal. As a football team, maybe going to the Super Bowl, like that's a common goal that everybody has a passion. Everybody values that because that's the epitome of that sport. Now you bring it to the professional world. It might be a little different. We have different backgrounds. People might not understand people at the same rate and level. But again, another answer that might take some time. The short of it, in my version, and I'd love to see the coaches tap in on this in the comments as well. But is when you can identify that vision. You guys have to have a common vision, regardless of the goal at this point. The company's vision. And you put a high value on that, and there's a respect level to that value. If everybody can get to the idea of value, we talk about how important that word value is. If everybody can appreciate and understand the value, regardless of their difference of opinions, lack of cohesiveness, if you understand that value, that's going to be the driving force in achieving it. That's going to create desire to achieve it. And then they do the little things to go and do it because now they value it rather than, well, it's not a big deal. Well, how can I get my teammates to value it? And maybe, I don't know if you're on the team or coaching the team, whatever that scenario is, finding a leader as well that can lead by example. People are going to follow that leader as well because they understand, okay, if he puts a lot of value on this, then I should probably put a lot of value on it. And then you see a lot of things that happen maybe behind the scenes that they actually they go the extra mile when you put that value on it, if that makes sense. That's the short answer, at least.
And I was going to say, too, it's more importantly than the words, it's who you are. Show up at what you love to be, and others will then either come to you. And so what Kathy, I know is out there, is be the source of encouragement to others. I had a ball player who was in the bullpen for the Milwaukee Brewers. The last time they won the pennant, and I had a chance to have several teammates. And beforehand, this question was asked by the pitcher: how can I be more of this? How can we create more of this? I said, you just be it. You decide to be it, and don't try to put any expectations on anybody else. Guess what happened? I picked up another client late in the year that was a pitcher for the Milwaukee Brewers, and he came to me and says, all I want to do is be like Cameron Lowe. Cameron Lowe didn't know. And what he did is I said, well, what is Cameron Lowe to you? And he described everything that Cameron Lowe and I talked about who Cameron Lowe wanted to be in the bullpen. I'm sitting there, I'm going, I'm amazed. He went point to point to point. I said, I called Cameron and said, did you tell him exactly what your intention was? He goes, no. What did he say? I said, everything you chose to be, he said, that's what he wants to be now.
This is so cool. It's such an experimental show, and it's so cool how we're seeing everybody coming together with such brilliant answers. And Kathy says here is NSWAT, which we know how powerful that is NSWAT's our otter. And I'll just do the short of it again. It's encourage and support others. That is a huge benefactor in the success of a team, cohesion, cooperation, collaboration, and community. You use NSWAT. But I love Dave Norris here. Shared values are the key. When people come together with the same core values, they assimilate together more rapidly and the back door closes. This is a leadership issue. People buy into the leader first, then the vision. I mean, absolutely. Geez, we're on the same wavelength right now, same frequency. I love this. This is exciting stuff. So let's get at least one more question in here. And I know we got a challenging one here. Continue to write in your questions because we're going to get to it. And we have some amazing comments and answers.
There's so much brilliance of the people we get to meet, Shane. I'm just tickled. I mean, I'm so grateful that these people come into my life that, I can learn from every day. Even as I coach or teach, I'm getting amazing value every single person. And so many now are on the show. Okay. Ooh, this is a tough one. This is a good one.
Of course, Mark wants to challenge us. It's probably because he hasn't been a guest yet on the show, and he's just like, hey, I'm going to give you guys the biggest challenge ever. All right, so the intention of money, that's a pretty interesting topic that we can tackle here. Set the goal, vision, and intention to generate the most money, $100K in a quarter, and hit it. But got hit with unexpected expenses and taxes that equaled that and 50% more. Dealing with the concept of money, abundance versus making more but still falling behind as expenses exceed. How do you coach someone through the mindset around and the literal money challenges in their life? I love to see what others say. But Dave, you've never had any money challenges, right? Everything's just flown to you naturally. Never had
so easy. Never been an issue at all. Oh my, and I'm blessed with the issues because, every time that something's come up, I've learned something of a great value and I'm still learning. I haven't come all the way to the top of the mountain, and I hope that I'm always, making moves in that way. I had an experience where I signed some personal guarantees and I got wiped out of every penny I ever had, everything. And it ended up being a gift that, I ended up marrying your mom. You were born because of it. And if I hadn't lost all the money, I wouldn't have done it, because my head was in the wrong place. But the truth is if I can increase my income, but now my expenses come to either be that or more, it means there's things in me that I still need to heal that I haven't seen, because it's like a thermostat. If it's at 72 degrees and it goes up to 76, it'll come back to 72. If it goes down here, it will come back up to 72. So for me, and that has happened for me, I go, okay, there's something within me I need to heal. It's not out here. It's not outside me, because I just hit my goals. And then look at all this unexpected stuff that showed up to bring me right back to 72 degrees. That's an instant sign that there's something more in me that I can heal. And if I keep going, and you've been the whole theme of the show is going within. So if I can find the blessing of what I need to heal. I had something just happen yesterday that was remarkable. I'm going to share that. We're running over time. But I had a baseball player who was my number one client. He ended up being MVP, and big home run king and everything. And we had maybe an 8-year run together. And then we got upset with each other. And we ended in a very tearful thing. And I'm not going to get into that. But now for 4.5 years, I've not spoken to him. He has not spoken to me. And yesterday, out of the blue, it was this thing said, you need to heal that, Dave, because where you're going to now, what else, I've been asked to heal things in me that I didn't, that are there. You need to heal that relationship. I haven't talked to him in 5 years, I think it is. I called him and I just said, Luke, I'm just calling you because I love you and I am grateful for the time we had together. And I just can't even begin to believe the conversation we ended up having, how awesome it was. Everything could be healed by love. There was so much anger when we went our own ways that it was all healed in that instant. Because I listened to that voice that said, call, this is a healing that you're still holding on to, you need to do. And it was so cool because he's going to do something now, maybe in Major League Baseball, that's never been done before. And I'm excited. And I just said, well, does that mean I called you? I didn't call you because I thought we had to work together again. I called you just because for me, I needed to heal something that was in me. And for him, it was something within him. And we thought about it. Maybe we should bring the magic. Maybe it is God's way of allowing, you take your separate path or whatever. And even with the anger that was there. And so now Kathy goes, as a good wife will always do, who else do you need to heal within you? Not out there. and you know what it's going to be is Jeff Bird. And I won't say anything more because that will come on another show. And that's
we're not going to say any names or anything. Protect the innocent. But, no, but it just comes back to coming back within. And I think what we're getting to, we're finding here in this talk here is every challenge provides a lesson. And there's something to be learned. And if you take on every challenge with that, what's the lesson here? What can I learn from this? You're going to grow stronger because of it, and not be afraid of challenges, but actually embrace challenges because of how beautiful it can be. And I want to go back to one of Rex's comments earlier was, Respa, observe the challenge just long enough, then move into a receptive state to experience the solution or the solution to the challenge. All challenges are designed to show us more clearly what we truly desire. Apply all known tools to move into alignment. And that can apply to the money questions, that can apply to the difficulty bringing the team together, the overcoming some of these adversity. I mean, it's amazing how these different things can apply. So I think, let's see, there's no more questions right now. I'm gonna continue to ask the questions, but I want to get into the final four, and we're gonna have to turn this into kind of a rapid fire just because of time's sake. We've been on this podium for quite a while now.
Unbelievable. But I got to say one thing. I want to just reach out to Mark. He had a very challenging question, and he's going to be a guest coming up. Mark, I'm going to challenge you to bring really incredible wisdom on that one alone and some more. Everyone's got to watch that because Mark is really brilliant. I can't wait till we have him on the show.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. Yeah, we have so many great comments. Oh my gosh. I wish we could do a 3-hour show. Maybe we will. But the final four is something we ask every guest the same questions. Today, you guys are the guests. We're the guests. We're going to answer these questions. But I also, as we ask them, I would love to see in the comments you guys answer them as well at the same time. So we're all going to do this together in really a fire round setting. So, Dave, who's your biggest influence growing up?
Whew. I got to say, I got to start with my dad because of what he did. Taking on machine gun fire for what he believed is something that just blows my mind. I can't even imagine it, that he would just be out in the front line at Iwo Jima with no weapon, just a Bible, trying to lead the charge with that. Now, that's crazy, but it was amazing. And why, he said, because that's where I'm needed most. And I just want to say real quickly, rapid fire, that Tony Bodo, Roger Anthony, oh my gosh, Mark Haddis. These are people, and everyone really. But I'm going to. What?
I said growing up. These are people you know now.
I know, but I have to say that it continues to be. But my dad was such a great influence on me. That just is such an amazing thing. And so when I'm nervous and I'm afraid to do something, I think, well, Dad, he took on machine gun fire for what he believed. I can't take on the scorn of another person's word, what they're going to think. Come on. So anyway, boom.
I'm typing
What about you? What about you?
I'm typing it in here so everybody else can join us with it. I think I spelled it right. Biggest influences growing up. Okay, so you guys can join us with this. I mean, I couldn't just not say my dad. My dad was pretty influential in my upbringing. I was fortunate enough to have a mental performance coach growing up. You didn't have you growing up, but I got to use growing up, and I'm so grateful for that success and the life that I'm living today because of these tools that now we're offering to everybody. And that's, again, why I'm so passionate and doing what I do with your Extreme Focus. If you can see the logo right there, that's our company. But one that comes to mind, because I want to, everybody says their dad, their mom, and it is true, though. But I do want to say Coach Bob. Growing up, my, in
Amen.
football, just my very first time ever playing football, my first coach was Coach Bob. He lived down the street from us. He was a neighbor. I'm good friends with his kids. And he was there was a moment in particular that I remember when my very first year I was a receiver. I wasn't a quarterback. The next year I was going to make that transition into being the quarterback. And I was just kind of going through the motions like, okay, I got this. I know what this takes. I'm a little kid. I know everything. And he saw me one day. He singled me out. This is before the season even started. He said, if you're going to be my quarterback, then I need you to be first in every drill. I need you to be the best, basically. I need you to be first in all of our conditioning drills. I need you to be first one here, last one to leave. He just put this responsibility on me that I was like, whoa, I've never been first in any of these conditioning drills. I hate conditioning. And once I realized, as I going along, it was a commitment. once I made that commitment to be first in everything, I also learned a valuable lesson in leadership, leading with by example, rather than, you see a lot of vocal leaders that haven't earned the respect yet, but they just go and yell, bark orders. But if you haven't earned that respect yet by doing it yourself, if you can't be a person that can do it yourself, how are you going to expect it as somebody else? So I didn't know it as a kid, the lesson that I was learning from that, but he planted a seed within me of that strong leadership from within. And I'm so blessed by that influence.
Hey, I got to say one other thing you left out on that. Bob was awesome. He also said you had to be number one in school. And that was the greatest gift you gave us, or he gave us as a parent, because you did the same thing in the classroom. You went from the class clown to the class leader.
I still am the class clown. Billy, thank you. Never give up. Be yourself, Austin. I love it, Billy. Thank you. All right, back to the Final Four. Second question. Now, what is something you would tell your younger self if you could? And I asked that to the audience.
Yeah, that's such a good one. I would say trust and believe more. I believed at a certain level, but I didn't believe at the deepest level. I quit on some things because I didn't know this way of thinking. I quit, and if I got nervous, I would, I put blame on me. Why do you get nervous? Well, everyone gets nervous. Instead, I wouldn't see that anybody else did. I see that I did, and I would get upset with myself. And there's no reason ever to. It's just part of life.
Absolutely.
That's what I tell myself. That's just part of life. There's ways through it. It's natural. It's normal. But I thought it was, I'm the only one that feels pressure. Yeah, right.
I don't feel it ever. But one thing I would tell my younger self is to be a sponge. I think, I've learned it now at the age I'm at now, but I wish early on, even at school, just taking all the things that I can, because our brains are amazing how much we can really take in. You can't really overload it. And I've made that a habit of trying to be a sponge, always being a student. Yes, we're teaching today maybe, but honestly, I'm always a student of life. And if I could go back, I would just tell myself, just continue to be that student and be a sponge. And we never are done learning, ever. So why not take every single day to learn something new? And that would be mine. So, wow, we have some great stuff. More. This would probably let's just see what it says. There is some seasonality to my answer. My mother is by far and away the most influential throughout my life. My grandfather, growing up in his butcher shop, would set the bar for sales, customer service, morale, and ethical business and life values. However, had it not been for the Galetti family, I hope I'm saying that right, and a high school teacher, Karen Rosenkrantz, there is no telling where I would be in life. Might not have made it long out of high school. It's amazing the influences that are in our life. It could be a teacher, it could be a coach, it could be a neighbor, it could be somebody you pass by. So you never know if you're that influence to somebody else. So what kind of person do you want to be? What kind of character do you want to be? Because you can make a true impact on somebody's life.
And I'm grateful for those people Mark just brought up, because I have such admiration and respect for Mark. So I knew it couldn't just be him. Had to be something beyond him. That's awesome. Like all of us.
Remember, you are created in the image and likeness of pure love. It is who you are, and remember and be joyous in everything and experience. And Rex is definitely a living example of that. He walks his walk for sure. Walks his talk, rather. So let's get into the third one. And that is anything you do for fun, any hobbies outside of changing lives. What is something that you do for fun, or any kind of hobbies?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, for me, surfing is a spiritual experience. To feel the water, splash upon my face, to look at the beauty out in the water, feel it, and then you ride the wave. It's like sometimes if it's a little bit bigger, you're paddling and you're all nervous. I've been that nerves, and then the nerves just shift in commitment as you come down the wave. You feel the energy, and all of a sudden you're using the energy rather than getting clobbered by the energy. And all of a sudden there's a scary part coming up. The wave's going to break and you don't know if you're going to make it. And you learn how to get up into the lip and then fly through. Man, there's no better exhilarating feeling than to do that. I mean, it's really part of life, but it's the thing I love. I love skiing too. That's why we're moving to Utah, but that's one reason. But
so surfing's your big thing. You used to be called Big Wave Dave, but what do we call you now?
Shut up. Shut up.
So surfing's one of mine for sure. Snowboarding is a big one from mine. Also, I've picked up soccer I love playing it recreationally on Sundays. It's my conditioning, but I just love the sport. It's a lot of running. It definitely puts you in some kind of crazy shape. But I play guitar. Some people know I go karaoke. I love karaoke. Me and Colin Taylor, who will be our guest one of these days, we've actually won some karaoke competitions. We've won some money too. So I'm a paid performer. I'm not going to brag or anything, but I have rocked the stage before. So that's just a little extra. I mean, David Norris riding his Harley Davidson motorcycle to places I've never been before. That's awesome. And he's never heard you called Big Wave before.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny because some people who I've known for years never call me Dave. They always just call me Big Wave. I've had that since sophomore in high school when we lived in Hawaii. I was the original.
Okay. All right. Well, you're also the original Small Mush Dave too. So let's get into the strongest or the toughest one, maybe the most challenging. Number 4, biggest life lesson. I'll start with you.
Biggest life lesson that
throughout your journey, whatever it might be.
That it's been that I've done. Some people say, "Gosh, you've been a professional athlete. You've done movies. You've done music. You've done this or that." I guess if I look back, is that I was always willing to fail, even though I don't like to fail. I hate to fail, but I was willing to put it on the line. There's no way you can achieve anything unless you're willing to release that fear of what will others think if I don't make it. And I'm blessed that I could do the things I did, and I couldn't have done it unless I allowed myself to know that there could be failure, and I did it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the answers are of the people on this right now live with us, because I know they've got some great life lessons to share. But just one for me is just over my journey, whether it's football or just in life, I'm still constantly learning the power of the mind and how unbelievable what we are capable of when we tap into that. I was always one, even just growing up, I was fortunate enough to have a great influence in my life and support system, to have a strong belief system. But I'm learning even more the depth of your belief system and how far it can go at such a unconscious, subconscious level. And I just am fascinated by that. So the biggest life lesson is we hold the key right up here. It's right in here. The power.
Well, it comes from here to there. If it bypasses this, we're really missing a big, big gift that goes to here. So bring it through here, and that's the greatest gift we can bring to this.
Either way, it's all within. So, I love it. That was an amazing show. I just want to recap for those that maybe are joining us later. Go back, check the replay. But just to go over some of the amazing stuff we talked about. We talked about a lot of challenges. There's still some challenges that we got to go and back through the comments and tackle again. And again, we can't dive into it as deep as we would like to, but we talked about some different beast triggers that we use. RESPA. We've talked about some of you guys have mentioned WOTAR on there, talking about how powerful our words are. There's so many.
Was thrown out.
The value. There's so many great lessons in there. And again, I just want to encourage you all. We talked about the beast triggers. You have access now to all of them. Even if you don't want to go and pay for it right now, the link is in there. Go to it. The first principle is totally free. You can listen to the entire 12-minute principle absolutely for free. So if you want to go get that free content, feel free. But there are 15 total that are just amazing. Whether you go to business or athletics, you're going to find an amazing lesson in all of them. So take that with you. You can have us with you every day in your ear on your commute to work, while you're in the gym. I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks on my way to the gym because I really am investing in my education. I'm trying to be a sponge. So that's one of the ways that we are trying to reach out to the world, because ultimately it's not about the money. That's not why we put a price tag on it. We want to be able to just reach as many people as we can with this message and with these great tools, because we know it can make a difference, not just in their lives, but just in the world, into society. But yeah, we do need a little bit of, to reach more. We need a little bit of, an investment to help us reach more. So that's all my take on it. Beast triggers are available for you now in the comments. And then also I brought up my giveaway that I'm going to be doing on Instagram with a few other collaborators that they're just rock star coaches themselves. So if you want to hear that announcement coming up very soon, make sure that you get on Instagram. Even if you don't have an account, just make one now. My name or handle is at Shane Austin 10. So it's my full name and my jersey number 10. And yeah, we'll have some really cool giveaways.
So I'm visualizing right now. I can just see it happening. I'm going to come up. Someone's going to have their headset on and say, "Hey, Rex," or "Hey, so-and-so, how you doing?" Shh, I'm listening to Shane right now. Shut up.
Way to bring it back full circle. Circle of life. People change people. I love it. We're all going to change each other. We're all going to learn together, and that's what I'm so excited about this. I'm excited to hear everybody's take on it as well, because this is, again, pre-launch. We haven't officially launched it yet, so I want to hear what you guys say. If you guys enjoy it, let us know. We would love to do it. And in that, in the energy of letting us know, I guess, if that kind of is a smooth transition to the review of the week, one from Zach Penn prays, Dave and everybody at Extreme Focus is on another level with their mental game. Every time I hear Dave's voice, I get jacked up and ready for anything life brings at me. I love Extreme Focus. Again, we're going back to our company, Extreme Focus. We're so blessed. Thank you, Zach, for the kind review. Please leave us a review. If you like the stuff that we've been doing, go to our page, Extreme Focus. We have a Facebook page. Not a lot of reviews yet. So if you want to be on the review of the week, go and give us a review, and we can all be in this abundant life together. So thank you all for taking the time today. This was our longest episode to date, and we didn't even have a guest. That just shows how much we talk.
We got to have a guest from now on. We have to have a guest. We were able to do it with a guest. You and I, an hour and a half. Come on.
All right. Mark says, show me the money. It's less than around a happy hour. Get them both, especially with the half off right now. This Facebook Live has been outstanding. Maybe that's the review of right now. Thank you. Live today well. Thank you, everybody. My son's journey's life and transition, which is also a great thing coming up. It's going to be a huge thing for, again, the world. We're going to impact the world with this.
And I got to say, that shows the courage of Rex. He loses his son, which is tough. But you know what? This is everything we're talking about. He has turned into a positive. So Journey's life is creating a better life for others.
Love that. Never say never. The thing I feared the most was actually where I found my purpose in living. And that is what it's all about. So let's all tackle these challenges together. I love it. Great show. Amazing. I could be up here all day. I'm glad you figured out the technology, your challenge, so we could co-host this. But, if I had that challenge, I would have been up for it. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all, and continue to have a blessed day, blessed weekend. Happy Aloha Friday. We will talk to you all next week, Monday and Friday. Tune in.
Aloha.